Today I'm going to teach you all how to play Yu-Gi-Oh! Might be a multiple part series, but today I'm going to teach you some of the basic stuff about how the game works, starting off with how you summon cards onto the field. Now I'm going to show you a really basic card, and you see this card right here? So at the top you can see all these stars at the top of the card. If it's 4 or less stars, as you can see, this is a 4-star monster, you can automatically summon it onto the field without any summoning sickness or sacrifices or anything like that. By the way, there's 4 monster zones on your field and 4 spell and traps cards on your field. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I meant to say 5, my bad. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yep, you get the idea. And but yeah, if it's more than 5, if it's more than 4 stars, like this 5-star monster, that means you have to sacrifice one monster to summon it. So let's say you already had this card on the field. If you wanted to summon this 5-star monster right here, you would have to put this card in your graveyard. For context, the graveyard is basically the discard pile of this game, you see. And the higher level your monster, higher star level your monster is, the higher typically the attack will be higher, but there might be special exceptions. And it's the same thing for a 6-star monster such as this one. So like if you wanted to summon a 6-star monster rather than the 5-star, you will have to do the same thing. So because like 5 and 6-star monsters require you to sacrifice one monster to summon it. So that's the basic stuff right there. Then there's level 7 and level 8 monsters right here. These require you to sacrifice 2 monsters on the field. So let's say one turn you sacrifice this monster to get this card, and now you're on your and meaning you had this card last turn. Okay, well, here's the thing. So you can't automatically do this in one turn. You can only do one normal summon per turn. So on your first turn, you could summon something like this automatically, no summoning sickness or anything. Next turn, you could sacrifice that to summon this. Next turn, you could do the same thing for a 6-star monster. But here's the thing. But in order to summon a 7 or 8-star monster, you need to have 2 monsters on your field and sacrifice both of those to summon one of these. You get the idea? And that is the basic summoning conditions for Yu-Gi-Oh monsters. Yep. Okay, and then oh wait, also I'm gonna explain the effects and stuff like that too. Okay, some cards will have effects, some cards will not. Cards that do not have effects will typically say normal, or if you look and actually read it, it'll just be flavor text describing the monster itself. For example, this monster's metabolism enables it to endure long. You get the idea. If it's not and these are called vanilla monsters because the vanilla color of the card is that they don't have effects. This is a basic effect monster. The one I showed you before, it has effects, and honestly, a lot of cards these days do have effects, but yeah, you get the idea. This is a link summoning. This is a link summoning card. I'm not entirely sure on how all the whole link summoning things work, but I get the basic idea. Yeah. See, for example, and sometimes you'll need to sacrifice certain types of monsters to summon certain monsters. So for this one, you need to sacrifice 2 water monsters, and I'll teach you all about the life point system and stuff like that in a little bit. But yeah, okay, this is a little more simple to understand. Like the link summon thing, there's a whole thing with the links and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, that's a little bit more complicated. I might have to do that in like a part 2 of this video or something. But this is an XYZ summon. These mean you need to these usually require you to sacrifice a certain number of certain level monsters. So for example, 4 level 5 monsters. And if for example, because this needs 4 level 5 monsters, you need to sacrifice 4 monsters that have these level 5 symbol at the top. You get the idea. So yeah. And this has but you get the idea. So that's another one of the more advanced type of monsters. Okay, this one's a lot more complicated, but let's see. All monsters, yeah, Pendulum effects. This is called a Pendulum card. Yeah, you see that right there. I'm not entirely sure how these cards work, but yeah, there's like an extra effect right here, and it's different. I don't know. I'm probably gonna have to research more on that and look that up in the next video. I know I'm a Yu-Gi-Oh fan. I should probably know a lot of this stuff right as of right now, but here, okay. Okay, and similar to the XYZ cards, XYZ cards, this is an XYZ card. The XYZ cards will typically be black color, and the synchro monsters are typically white and are kind of similar to the XYZ cards, just a bit more. The synchro monsters are usually more powerful, or you get the idea. Oh yeah, also they can go up to like 10 to 12 level stars at the top. Let's see, one tuner synchro monster, two or more non-tuner synchro monsters. You get the idea. And these black dots on the card means like that's different effects. You can only use one of those effects once per turn. You get the idea. Yeah, and also even though I've said that in the past that these cards can go up to into the thousands, 4,000 attack points is really good, and I will explain why in a couple of minutes or seconds. Okay, but yeah, this is really complicated. I actually just got this from a pack yesterday. I didn't even notice was a thing. This is a fusion summon. You know what? Matter of fact, hold on. Let me get a regular fusion summon card. I'll teach you about that in a moment. This is a fusion summon card. Fusion summon cards are usually just all purple, as you can see here, and fusion summon cards are kind of like the Synchro and XYZ monster cards, except you need very specific cards. For this one, you need Gaia the Fierce Knight and one level 5 Dragon Monster. Yeah, and also, yeah, and also I'm teaching you the basics about how you play this game. So I'm probably gonna have to teach you about like holographics and the rarities and stuff, and like a part 2 or maybe a part 3. But yeah, this is a fusion summon Pendulum monster I didn't even notice existed. But yeah, let's see, 4 dragon monsters, 1 fusion, plus 1 synchro, plus 1 XYZ, plus 1 Pendulum. Okay, I think I get the idea. So it's basically a regular Pendulum monster, but you need a certain number of cards, including 1 fusion summon card. So it's like a Pendulum so it's like a Pendulum fusion monster. Okay, but that's the different types of monsters you can use on a field. Now I'm going to teach you about spell and trap cards. So these are basically cards where it's like the effect is the entire purpose. Unlike a monster where they'll typically have attacks and stuff. These are hold on a moment. But yeah, these are these are basic spell and trap cards. The spell cards are these light blue or teal ones you see right here. The trap cards are these light pinkish ones you see right here. Spell cards are more simple to understand. So like these are basically cards where it's like the effect is the entire purpose and the effect will be like more complex. So for example, to activate this card, yeah, it'll usually have like certain conditions for what you do with the card. But yeah, unlike monster effects where it's like you do certain things with that card or cards in your graveyard, these spell cards have effects, but they have to do with certain types of cards or specific cards entirely. Trap cards are basically kind of like spell cards, except unlike a spell card where you have to activate it on your turn. A trap card is something you could play during your opponent's turn. So like let's say, hold on a moment. Okay, but yeah, so a trap card. So like, let's say your opponent attacks you on your turn, and if you can flip over a trap card, and if the trap card allows it, like you can do stuff like negate the effect of your opponent activated towards you on their turn, or if your opponent attacks you, you can activate a trap. You can flip over a trap card and negate the attack. You get the point of what I'm saying. I know what I'm saying might sound like a bad word because the internet's sensitive these days, but yeah, you get the point. Those are the basic spell and trap cards. This is a field spell, meaning it's a spell you keep. Meaning, unlike a regular spell where you use it once and you discard it, a field spell is something you keep on the field, and it's something like that effect that you can use every turn. So for example, if an elemental hero monster attacks a monster with a higher attack, the attacking monster gains 1000 attack during damage calculation only. So like, yeah, so basically like this, like so basically, a field spell gives you advantages like that, like gives you advantages, or can give both player advantages and disadvantages every turn. Like cause yeah, you get the point of what I'm saying. Like that's basically how it works. And okay, this you can tell whether it's a field spell or not. For example, like with a field spell, it'll have that little ninja cross looking thing. This one has an infinite logo. I don't remember what the infinite logo means, but yeah, for example, when this card is activated, look at the top 3 cards of your deck. Then you can reveal one Dark Magician or one spell or track card that specifically lists Dark Magician and its text amongst them. Add it to your hand. Okay, yeah, you see once per turn. That means similar to a field spell, you can keep this on your field and use it once and use it every turn. But like, except what makes a field spell different is that it's something that can like affect both players. You get that similar to the stadium cards on a Pokemon card. These are kind of like similar to the stadium cards on Pokemon TCG. That's kind of what these cards are for Yu-Gi-Oh. Yeah, and okay, I don't remember what that lightning bolt means, but like, let's see. Oh wait, I think this is like a card that, like an action spell, like a card that can be treated like another card, or like that, stuff like that. Cards you activate right away and it's done. This, yeah, this has the infinite logo, but it's a trap. When this card is activated, you can activate one Yuumi from your hand or graveyard while Yuumi is on the field. Then this face-up card gains these effects. Okay, so this is basically a trap card that you can use every turn. Unlike a regular trap where it's like you use it during your opponent's turn and oh, it's done in the graveyard. But yeah, okay, so now that we've got the basic card types, yeah, that's not even the basic game mechanics yet. Now I'm going to teach you how the attack and defense system works. So let's say it's your first turn. So, also, if you're the person who's going first and it's your first turn, you cannot attack on that turn. Yeah, like whoever goes first can't attack on their first turn. That's just a general rule. I think that might be a bit easier to understand. So like, let's say I have this on here and my opponent has this card right here. So you see there's an attack number and a defense number. You see on this one the attack number is 1,800, and on this card the attack number is 2,600. Interesting. So if I try to attack this one has higher attack than mine, then this card would die. Then this card would go to the graveyard. Except unlike other trading card games, so whatever card loses. So like this card would lose to this card. Since I would be trying to use this card against this card, let's see. So you'd have to minus the 1,800 attack of the card that lost and died from the higher attack monster's attack. So 2,600 minus 1,800, and then each player starts off with 8,000 life points in a duel, and basically whatever once you take away that from that, whatever the last number is left is how much damage is done directly to your 8,000 life points. You see what I'm saying? But then there's the defense system. So like, so hold on. Let's say I have the stronger monster this time, and I attack my opponent. But like, a defense is basically like where the card is flipped sideways instead of forward. Usually fate of defense position monsters will be flipped down. Like, let's say I attack that monster, and here's the thing. Unlike the attack number, you see the DEF is short for defense, so the defense numbers would go. So obviously this card is stronger than that one, and this one would go to the graveyard. However, since the card was in defense position, they do not lose any life points. So that's how the basics of attack and defense work. Now I'm gonna get into the more advanced stuff. So I don't have a card out and about right now that fits it, but sometimes on an effect monster, the effect might say something like this isn't a card that has an effect, but sometimes there might be an effect monster that like lets you do something like, for example, let's say my opponent attacks this monster and it goes to the graveyard. I can use its if the effect says so, I can use its effect to like tribute summon a card from my hand to the graveyard and then bring it back. So that's kind of how monster effects work. So yeah. That's the basics on how you play Yu-Gi-Oh. Yeah, pretty crazy. Cause on other games like I don't remember what it was called, but like on other games like Magic the Gathering or the Pokemon TCG, usually the monsters themselves will have a health system, and you have to actually take your time to try and summon stronger monsters. Like there's a summoning sickness, and a lot of the times monsters and characters are like that in these other trading card games. But no, the thing about Yu-Gi-Oh is like if you're kind of an impatient person and you just want to get to the action, just summon, just get the big stuff out like right away. Of course, you can't do it directly right away, but like definitely soon enough. Because like for a level 4 or lower monster. Oh wait, whoops. For a level 4 or lower monster, you can just summon it right away. There's no summoning sickness or anything like that. That is the basics of how to play Yu-Gi-Oh. Now, I'm not gonna get into the more advanced stuff, but also, and like I said before, next turn I'm gonna try to figure out the Pendulum cards and the Link summoning cards and stuff, which I will explain in next video in the next part. Also, part 2 of this is probably gonna be a lot shorter, and once I release that part 2 video, I might release a part 3 explaining like all the rarities and like the holographics and stuff like that out. But yeah, so that's the basics on how you play Yu-Gi-Oh. I'm gonna post this video to YouTube now, so yeah, if you ever wanted to learn a new card game or just learn something new or learn how to play Yu-Gi-Oh, yeah, this video is for you. Hope you enjoyed. This is literally my longest video yet. See you later.